Hello and welcome back to some more Crystalline in space hacking. Let's get into it, I guess. As soon as it'll load. I was really... Hey, whoa. Nope. Nope. Get me out of here. There we go. Messed it up immediately. Start from scratch. And it was like, nah, this isn't ready. It's just
Agreed.
What are you guys planning?
We'll knock them out and make our way in. Zach blinks and then pedals the discharger.
Right. Just knock them out.
Oh, okay. Homicidal maniac is a part of a party. Let's go. Leanna looks at Zach.
I don't agree with this decision. We don't know for sure these guards are bad.
She's right. The guy just be following orders. She doesn't point me much. So maybe we should try talking to him
I doubt
first.
that would work.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It doesn't hurt to try.
Yeah. Zach frowns, and after some thoughts, he nods.
We'll try that first. If that fails, we go to plan B.
I can agree with that. Plan B? Zach has already moved towards the guards and doesn't hear my question. I face Leanna. Do you know what plan B is?
Let's just hope it doesn't resort to that.
Her hair is like jello. I don't like it. Just constantly shakes. We catch up to Zach.
Halt! What is your business here?
We wanted to know if you know about the good Lord.
We're here to see the mayor.
That too.
Does he expect your audience?
Zach shakes his head.
No, but I need to speak with him about this latest tax hike.
The tax hike?
Guard glances at each other and lower their weapons slightly. It almost seems as if they disapprove of the taxes too.
You guys don't seem too happy with the taxes either.
One of the guards hesitates, then
My
nods.
sister runs the bakery in town, and the taxes have been hurting her business.
Gotta help out your sister.
Then why haven't you done anything about it?
We tried, as have some of the other guards. When we protested, the treasurer recommended the mayor hire real guards.
He glowers. I always hated that word, glowers, as he mentions the treasurer.
Yeah, things have gotten really strange ever since he came to town. Suddenly the mayor is passing crazy rules he never would have passed before.
The other guard elbows his
Get
comrade.
down. Do you want one of his lackeys to hear?
The first guard frowns and falls silent. Leanna raises a hand to her chin in thought.
This treasurer sounds really suspicious.
The guard motions to her manipulator.
Wait, you're a mage knight?
Leanna blinks.
Yes, that's correct.
Can you scan the treasurer for magic use? I swear, he's doing...
Not your crazy theories again. They already have a court mage to see to that.
What if he's hypnotized?
Yes, a court mage who was assigned by the treasurer.
Seems suspicious. The second guard frowns but doesn't reply.
If we let you through, will you just scan around and see if you notice anything?
Leanna nods.
Yes, I'll do what I can.
Just be careful. Some of the treasurer's hired guards may not be so fond of you poking around.
Both guards step to
On
the
your
side.
way.
Let's go.
Zach leads the way. We follow behind as Leanna fiddles with her manipulator. As we progress through the mansion, we pass unnoticed by the clerks and guards milling about. They must assume we have a reason to be here if we get through the front door. Leanna stares intently at her manipulator, her brow furrowed in confusion.
This doesn't make any sense.
What is it?
The readings, they're so erratic. It's almost like there's... But there can't be.
There's what?
Shadow magic.
Ooh. Zach looks sharply at Leanna.
Shadow magic.
She reluctantly nods. Zach sets his jaw and tightens the grip on his dischargers. So, shadow magic. Someone mind telling me what that is?
Forbidden magic.
Okay. She's entirely focused on her manipulator. A lot of good that
It's
does
coming
me.
from
She jogs down the hallway and stops in front of a mahogany double doors. How do you... Okay.
Behind there.
Suddenly, a voice calls out from behind us. Standing down the hall is the same guard from the shop.
How did you get in here? Intruders!
Kill him quick! All eyes fall on us as he begins yelling. The guards who previously ignored us now draw their weapons as they close in. Zach pulls out his dischargers.
You go deal with whatever that is. I'll keep them busy here.
Zach kicks down one of the tables and drops behind it for cover.
Now!
Oh, he's angry. As he raises his guns, purple energy swirls to life. He rains a hail of energy bolts down the hall in suppressive fire. Lena bursts through the doors, and I stay at her heels. The noise from the battle gradually fades away as we run deeper into the mansion. Eventually, the hall leads into a study. A carved wooden desk, laden with books and ledgers, is in the center, with bookcases surrounding it. A man wearing a hooded dark robe sits at the desk. He scribbles something with one hand while the other hand is hidden within his robe. An older man sits on the other side of the desk. His graying hair sticks out in strange angles and his embroidered clothes are slightly askew. He stares at the open ledger on the desk, but his eyes are dull as if they aren't really seeing it. Two guards stand by the doorway as still as statues with some dull eyes. The treasurer rises to his feet.
These two in? I explicitly said no visitors.
Leanna's manipulator pulses wildly, especially when she raises her arm towards him.
It's him! He's the source of the shadow magic!
Neither the mayor nor the guards react.
How dare you make such accusations? Arrest her immediately!
The guards ready their weapons. Stop! We aren't here to fight you.
It's no use! He's influencing them with shadow magic!
Because I don't know what that does. A gust of wind gathers around Leanna, violently whipping her hair and clothes. It concentrates in her gauntleted palm as she hurls it at them. She just takes off the gauntlet and whips it. The wind knocks the guards against the walls and blows open the robe of the treasurer, exposing his hidden hand. Within the palm is a dark crystal sphere. It looks like a marble of darkness and swirling smoke. From within the crystal there are shadowed tendrils which extend to the mayor and his two unconscious guards. Leanna's voice is flat when she speaks. I've never heard her sound so serious before.
A tainted spear, and the branding of void.
You have seen too much.
The treasurer raises the black sphere high, and shadow energy shoots straight towards Leanna. She raises her hand and creates another ball of wind as she fires at the shadowy bolt. The shadow bolt cuts through Leanna's magic like a knife through butter, and her wind scatters harmlessly into the room. Gasp! Freeze! Push her out of the way. Can I save? Can I quick save? Nah. Push her out of the way. Leanna! Ooh. I dash towards her and knock her out of the way. I take a full brunt of this shadow blast and I am flung back against the wall. Agony sears my body. I grit through the pain and I look at Leanna. And it doesn't look like any of the magic hit her. She rushes over, her face a mix of bewilderment and concern. You got this? I muster up a smile. Go get him.
That was so reckless.
Yeah. Leanna unsheaths her blade. A determined fire in her eyes, she faces the treasurer and raises her sword. Ooh. Her manipulator glows with power, which flows into her blade, encasing it in a similar glow. Magic particles swirl around as static sparks of energy lash out from her weapon. In an instant, she dashes towards the treasurer at an inhuman speed. He fires two shadow bolts, but Leanna uses her blade to cut through the air and shoots off two slices of energy which cut through the shadow magic.
Yeah!
Leanna lunges and charges her blade towards the treasurer. Exclamation point! Or as he would say, just before her sword would pierce him, the treasurer throws his tainted sphere to the ground. It shatters apart and a shadowy mist leaks out of the orb, enclosing the room in a dark fog. Good God, a terrible time for hiccups. The thick fog clouds my vision so I can't see anything, and it slowly begins to fade. I make out Leanna watching her surroundings, but the treasurer is nowhere to be seen. When she doesn't see her enemy, the glow from her sword fades away. Ooh, he has a picture. The mayor lets out a throaty groan. He rubs his head, his eyes now looking groggy like somebody who has just woken up.
What is...
Leanna sheaths her blade.
Take it easy. You were under the effects of shadow magic.
shadow magic?
He shakes his head as if to free his thoughts. He must be trying to shake off the lingering effects of the magic.
Is it finally over?
Leanna nods. The mayor takes a few more minutes to compose himself. When his eyes seem more focused, he sighs in relief.
You have my thanks.
Suddenly, the door barges open as Zack races in. Behind him is a wave of guards.
Stop him!
He's with us.
The mayor stands unsteadily on his feet but addresses the
Leave them
guards.
be. But I said leave them be.
They hesitate and shoot confused glances at each other, but ultimately follow the order and lower their weapons.
Took you guys long enough.
He looks at me.
What are you doing down there?
I groan as I rotate to my back. Leon offers me a hand, which I
He
accept.
took a shadow blast. Aimed for me.
I kinda ate it. Zack blinks in surprise but looks impressed.
Seems like you ended up being useful after all.
Oh, cuts deep. Thanks. Lena checks her manipulator, but it remains still.
The shadow magic is gone.
The mayor seems much more alert.
It was my treasurer, wasn't it?
Leanna nods. He sighs heavily and sits back down in his
When he
chair.
first arrived into town, I thought he would be like all the other travelers and go on his way. But he said he knew how to make this town even greater than what it is now. He had ideas on how we could become more than just a wayward stop. The first step was to increase taxes to build up our treasury.
He hangs his head in his hands.
All I wanted was to help the people here have better lives. But all I've done is cause them suffering.
You weren't in control of yourself.
But it was me who made all the rulings and enforced those tax laws.
Leanna shakes her
It
head.
wasn't you. That man had a tainted sphere, and he was using it to influence you.
The mayor leans back. He looks tired, as if a huge weight was dropped on
I
him.
don't deserve to continue as mayor of this town.
Somebody just slap him in the face once. One of the guards steps
That's
forward.
not true.
Thank you, guard number 2. I look over at the voice and recognize him as one of the guards formerly controlled by shadow magic.
I know what it's like when he used that magic. All I could think about was how I could become an honor guard. The thought was overwhelming and I'd do anything to achieve it. I know that wasn't the real you, Mayor.
The other formerly controlled guard steps forward and nods.
Me too. Little Garrett still plays with the toy sword you gave him for his birthday. Says he's practicing for when he joins the guard too.
Who the hell is Garrett? The other guards in the room murmur their assent.
There's nobody who can run this town better than you.
The mayor glances at the hopeful faces of his guard. In this small town, I can believe that he knows each of them by name. Finally, he gives him a weak
I
smile.
suppose somebody needs to clean up this mess.
He gets back to his feet and turns to
I
us.
don't know how to thank you for what you've done for us.
Leanna smiles warmly.
I'm glad we were able to help.
Zack and I
You
nod.
must be exhausted. Please, feel free to stay at Raven Pass for as long as you like.
Thank you.
The three of us leave the mayor to his business and head out of the mansion. Once outside, I glance up at the darkening sky. Leanna mirrors my movements.
We should rest up for the night.
Agreed.
I nod.
I saw the inn back towards the shops.
Zack leads the way. After turning down the side street, we see a lighted sign for the Hog's Head Inn. I stifle a yawn as we head inside. It's the same one from before. No. Zack and I sit down at a table while Leanna speaks with the innkeeper. I can't judge them for using the same template for for inns because this isn't the critical part of the story. She returns with 2 room keys, looking a bit shocked. Wordlessly, she passes one to Zack. What's going on?
The innkeeper refused to let us pay for the rooms or food. Said it was by order of the mayor, and one he would happily oblige.
That was really nice of him. She nods. Another silence falls over us, but this one feels natural and not a bit uncomfortable. After a few minutes, the staff brings out 3 steaming bowls and places one in front of each of us. Once the bowl hits the table, Zach digs in with gusto and practically inhales his food. Leanne and I share a look before we grab our spoons. Ah, stew again? She nods.
It's hearty and filling.
I'm sure it is. Rabbit stew, yeah?
Actually, this time it's venison.
Well, had the same thought I did. And it's venison. So what's that? Cow? Right? And take a bite. Better than rabbit, even more gross. Tastes the same. Better than rabbit, even more gross. No way, this is even better. Leanna grins.
I like venison more.
Oh, I picked the right choice. I try not to wince every time I use my spoon. The fire has eased out of my body, but my shoulder still throbs from when I landed on the ground. Leanna glances at me when she gets up and walks back to the innkeeper. She returns with a compress in her hand. How do they have... Okay. She offers it to me with a smile.
This should help with the pain.
I hold it against my shawl and smile appreciatively as the pain slowly melts into a dull ache.
Thanks for helping me back there.
I smile. Anytime. I continue digging into my meal, and I also give finger guns when I say anytime. Keep that in mind. So what exactly makes shadow magic bad?
It's far more dangerous than any other elemental magic. And it's incredibly unstable and volatile.
So it's not inherently bad, it's just powerful.
The most serious thought of shadow magic is how it's able to amplify the shadowy thoughts of someone's mind.
It can do bad things, but so can wind magic and fire magic. So the treasurer was manipulating what the mayor was already feeling. She nods.
He might have wanted to help the town by looking to expand, but there's also a bit of selfishness on his part for wanting to do that too. Either greed for more money coming in and more luxurious goods, or wanting more fame and recognition.
Everyone has thoughts like that. It's just a matter of keeping those thoughts in check.
Leanna nods.
Shadow magic, unfortunately, lets those desires loose in a destructive way.
Is there any way to block against it?
Unless you are a mage. Not really.
Leanna picks at her food.
Most people can't control the magic well, and it's very easy for it to backfire and cause more harm to the caster than the intended target.
That treasurer seemed to be handling it well. She looks even more
I
worried.
know, which is even more troubling considering the fact that shadow magic is outlawed in Havengard.
Oh. Zach pushes his now empty ball away
I
from him.
think he's part of Void.
Leanna's frown deepens.
I think so too. I noticed the branding on his forearm.
What's void?
They're practitioners of shadow magic. They first rose to power during the struggle of the Three Kingdoms, before the Treaty of Asaria.
I don't know what that is
They
either.
wanted to grow their power in the outreach of shadow magic, and a lot of innocent people were killed in the process.
Bad dudes, got
At
it.
the height of their power, they grew so powerful and were so destructive that the Three Kingdoms had to set aside their differences and band together.
That's when the treaty was formed. Part of the agreement was to outlaw shadow magic.
Are you really telling me it took 3 kingdoms to take down one cult?
Shadow magic is a lot more powerful than any other elemental magic, which is why there are people who still want to practice it. It's impossible to stabilize the magic, so it's deemed too dangerous to be used.
Zach nods. I see. No wonder both Leanna and Zach seemed so grim when they first noticed the shadow magic. I stifle another yawn.
Is everyone done eating?
Zach and I both nod.
Then I suggest we head to bed.
I second that motion. I'm exhausted.
I know.
She grins and I can feel a rush of warmth to my face. I guess she saw my yawn. Zach leads the way upstairs, clutching one of the keys. We stop in front of the 2 adjoining
Well,
doors.
good night then.
Good night. Zach nods. Leanna turns the key and lets herself into the room. Gently closes the door behind her. Zach also the second room. I'm about to follow him when the door slams shut. Very funny. I turn the handle when it's locked. What the hell? Zach, let me in. He ignores me, so I pound on the door. Come on, let me in. He doesn't answer, but a couple poke their head out of their room and glare at me. It feels like that's a bad idea. Let's get her. Just get her be more quiet. Sorry. I gently knock on the door. Haha, very funny. You can open the door now, please. No answer. Oh, try Leanna's room. This is ridiculous. I knock on Leanna's door. Leanna? She opens the door with a crack and pulls it open all the way when she recognizes me. Her brows are creased with worry.
Is something wrong?
Zach's being mean. Zach locked me out of the room. She blinks.
Really? Is that it?
And I need to get in there?
Alright, then get in there.
How? She
I'm
smirks.
sure you'll figure it out.
Oh.
Good night.
Oh. I continue hammering repeatedly at the door. I can keep this up all night. Suddenly the door swings open and I walk in. The first thing I noticed are the 2 twin beds. You son of a bitch. Zach lounges on one of the fixed and skate. Oh, don't even. What the hell was that? Why didn't you let me in?
No space.
There are 2 beds. Zach wordlessly walks over to the other bed and pulls back the blankets. Tucked inside the beds are both of his dischargers. Not cool, man. Not cool. I gotta remember.
What are you doing?
Getting them. This is my bed.
But then where will they sleep?
What the fuck are you on about? I just look at him. Finally, he sighs and collects his dischargers. Sleep with him, you weirdo. I lie back on the bed, and as soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm asleep. Oh, this cool music. I'm rudely awakened by boisterous yells. As I blink my eyes open, I see the pongo planted on Zach's face. What's going on? Zach leaps off the bed, continuing his scolding, and the pongo scurries under the pillow. I think he scared him.
Get out of there!
He snatches the pillow and reveals the pongo continually blobbing over his discharges. The pongo's eyes are slitted shut, and he wears a silly grin.
Don't even think about it!
Zach scoops up his discharges and forcefully gives them a shake. The pongo's eyes snap open as he wobbles in the air, clinging for dear life. Zach doesn't cease his shaking, and somehow the pongo seems to be hanging on. I'd say well deserved for locking me out. His small body jiggles up and down, and he finally bounces onto the floor. I'm starting to like this pongo a little more. A little bit more every time it happens. He glares back at Zach, who is busy inspecting his discharges, to notice. There's a sharp knock on the door. Barely comprehending what's going on, I shuffle to the door and open it a crack.
I heard yelling. Is everything
She cuts off mid-sentence and her eyes grow wide. I look behind me and see Zach dangling his discharges high in the air while the pongo leaps up to reach
These
it.
aren't for you to absorb!
Boy!
Uh,
I'll just wait for you guys downstairs.
Before I can answer, she turns around and walks away. I can't blame her for that. I close the door and start getting dressed. A long while later, I emerge from the room and the pongo's sitting on my head. Zach and his dischargers back in their holsters and his shoulders. And they're in their holsters and shoulders his pack. Okay, that's a weird. We headed downstairs and meet Leanna, who is waiting at one of the tables.
Is everyone ready?
Yep.
Yeah. As long as that thing doesn't come near my dischargers again.
Poi.
The pongo sticks out his tongue. Leanna speaks before the 2 of them can start again.
Alright, then let's hit the road.
With a final nod, she leads the way out of the inn and back into town. The rest of the journey towards Illumia is peaceful and yet uneventful. The pongo snoozes on my head for most of the way there. Leanna frequently sneaks a peek at him and smiles to herself. Zach keeps to himself and continues to be in the lead for our fewest lines spoken. By midday, I can see the stone buildings of Illumia. We make it through the city gates without an incident. There we go, there's the ambiance in the background. Unlike the quaint houses of Meadow Hill Village, Illumia is built taller and grander, and the more noise people fill the streets. Ooh, it's very bright. Zach stares down a side street.
This is me.
I crane my neck and peer into a clove. Ooh, I don't know that word. It's time to get educated, folks. A clove. A recess in a wall of a room or garden. Okay.
It's a shortcut to the inn.
Leanna nods.
Safe travels. Hopefully our paths will cross again.
Good luck at the Mage Academy.
He heads into an alley. Into the alley. Do you think we'll see him again? She shrugs.
Mercenaries have a way of just popping up. Let's keep moving.
Foreshadowing
The
if
Mage
I've
Academy
ever
is
seen
straight
it.
ahead, closer to the center
No
of
one
town.
introduces a character for that long for him to dip. She points at the looming tower with a high steeple. As we get closer, I see the tower is attached to a castle. Whoa! You studied
Yep.
here? It definitely looks prestigious. She notices my wonder.
What's your academy like?
Liberal arts college, party school, normal university. Normal university. I shrug. The usual, there are a lot of students all studying different majors, but we all have required core courses, which we have to complete before branching into our majors. Leanna nods.
That sounds similar to the Mage Academy. Everyone here must learn magic and casting, but after that, we are able to choose a discipline.
Like becoming a mage knight?
Yeah, that's right.
What are the other disciplines? We begin making our way down the grand streets of Illumia. Once we arrive at the academy, Leanna pushes right through the wrought iron gates and leads me across the expansive quad. Ah, this is cool too. Students pass by in flocks chatting animatedly. Each of them wears nearly identical long cloaks, differing only in color. Europeans? Leanna glances excitedly at a girl wearing a white cloak. Do you know her?
No, but we're in the same house.
What does that mean?
You can tell by her cloak. White means she's learning wind magic.
Ooh. I pay more attention to specific colors. There's white, red, blue, and green. I bet I can guess which colors represent what. Wind is white. Leanna nods. Red is fire, blue is water, green is earth. She grins.
You got it.
Yeah, I mean... We walk past an enclosed field. A young man sporting a green cloak holds a book in one hand and with his other hand aims his manipulator straight ahead of him. His mouth is pressed in concentration and beads of sweat lie in his forehead. After a few tense minutes, the earth rumbles beneath him and dirt spikes shoot out of the ground. That was awesome.
Come on!
But I'm looking at this earth magic. Leanna pulls on my arm, reverting my attention back to the task at hand. We enter the east wing of the castle and into an open foyer. There are only a scattering of students wandering these halls, and most are accompanied by an adult wearing long black robes. I assume they must be the professors. Leanna scans each professor we pass as if looking for someone specific. She leads me up a winding staircase, then grins when she spots an older man with graying hair. His robes are pleated with white stripes, and he carries a staff in one hand.
Professor Orin!
Professor Orin. He turns to the sound of his name and matches Leanna's grin.
Leanna, one of my best and brightest. What a pleasant surprise.
Does he not get a picture? She smiles bashfully at the compliment.
It's great to see you again.
What brings you to the academy?
Actually, I'm here on official business. I'm sure you've heard of the random concentrations of magical energy by now.
He nods.
Well, I found someone who was directly impacted.
She gestures to me. I shift awkwardly as his gaze falls on me. Although he looks intently at me, I can sense his curiosity.
What exactly do you mean by impacted?
I was investigating a report of unusual magic energy in Meadowhill, and it turns out the concentrated energy originated from him.
Professor Orson raises a skeptical eyebrow.
That level of energy would tear a human apart from the inside. Are you sure you weren't mistaken?
My manipulator read the energy level. Maybe we can use the Academy's equipment to scan him again.
Yes, let's do that.
Let's do that indeed. I've got zero magic. He motions for us to follow him, then turns down the hallway. We're arriving in a spacious room. There's a large device in one end of the room, which is separated by a wall of glass. The device has two panels on the side, which stretch up about 8 feet off the ground. On the other side of the room are a handful of students and professors. They're consistently focused. Their manipulators what I seem to be magical tests, and every so often jot down notes. A couple of pongos openly roam about the room, mostly ignored by the people. If one wanders a little too close to the crystal, a student chases it away. Otherwise, they leave each other be. I thought you said pongos weren't really welcome in society. Leanna looks fondly around the room, a reminiscent smile on her
They
face.
aren't, but mages tend to like them. Pongos absorb residue energy on the mage from casting, which is surprisingly nice. Kind of feels like a gentle massage.
Professor Oren gives her a soft nudge.
Go ahead.
She nods and turns
We're
to me.
gonna take another scan of you now.
Okay. You're talking about that huge thing behind the glass, right?
Yeah. It looks intimidating, but it functions the same way as my manipulator.
Alright. One of the students leads me to the device and has me stand between the two panels. There's a crystal mounted on top of each panel. As he closes the glass door behind him, a quiet mumbling of voices is muted into silence. A beam of soft light emits between the crystals and slowly descends towards me, my head passing through the torso and disappearing at my feet. Once the light is gone, some students let me back in the room. Professor Oren looks grave while Leanna's mouth is pressed to a firm frown.
This can't be right. Maybe we should scan him again.
Leanna, the levels that you reported would have killed this young man.
Even so, how is it possible that this scan shows he has 0 magical energy?
She holds out her manipulator just as when we'd first met. A pale light glows, and like our initial meetup, as she holds her manipulator close to me, the light remains unchanged. Leanna's face falls. Professor Orange puts a comforting hand on her shoulder.
Had he just cast it? Perhaps it was magical residue which you had read. As you know, that tends to slowly leave the body after each magic use.
She shakes her head.
It was too high a reading to just be residue.
Oh yeah, Defender. The last time Leanna used her scanner thing on me, the little glowy light was pulsing like crazy, like it almost flatlined and it was beeping so much. Professor Orange seems intrigued.
Then perhaps it was a faulty reading from your manipulator.
Perhaps.
And see, that's possible. I can hear the skepticism in her voice. It seemed to be working fine before. Leanna shakes her head as if asking me not to continue.
I should get back to my students, but I hope I get to see you again.
But you're not incorrect. And why does he sound like never mind. Professor Oren gives Leanna's shoulder one last comforting squeeze before he leaves. While our discussion had been taking place, I noticed Pongos would watch me with interest. A green one starts to gravitate towards us. Maybe it's interested in Leanna's magic, but then why does it look like it's heading towards me? I look down and see my wobbly blue friend at my feet. Hey, you're back. He bounces on the ground and fixes me with a wide smile. Suddenly he stops and stares at the green Pongo and blinks back at him. He hops towards it and grins.
Poi poi. Poi.
Oh. My Pongo's eyes widen.
Poi poi.
The green Pongo grins and hops away as my Pongo follows it. I have no idea what just happened, but why do I feel all warm and fuzzy inside? As the Pongos run off, the professor in a wheelchair rolls towards us although he's lost all his hair. He doesn't seem as old as some of the others. Is this Professor Xavier?
Leanna.
Oh my god. Oh my. He's got psychic powers. He's the world's strongest mutant. She doesn't bother containing her surprise.
Professor Xavier!
Pleasure to meet you. The Professor Xavier? What am I thinking? I want to do that one. I stare hard at him and channel my thoughts. I know your secret. I want to join you. Train me as one of your mutants. That's fantastic. I love it. He glances uncomfortably at me. This is fantastic.
Are you feeling all right, young man?
Oh, God. I'm feeling just fine, thank you. I'm not saying these things. Both me and Leanna share confused glances. It's too fucking funny.
All right then.
Aha, I knew it. He looks at Leanna again and she shrugs.
Professor, is there something I can help you with?
Good God. That was too funny.
Leanna, how high was your original energy reading?
In the thousands.
He creases his brow and ponders
Tell
quietly.
me, are you familiar with the theory of temporal rifts?
Leanna and I both shake our heads.
In the most basic sense, a temporal rift occurs when the fabric of the universe is torn. In the midst of this tear, there is a moment where the parallel worlds overlap.
Leanna and I glanced sharply at each other. Would it be possible to cross between these worlds?
It may be in theory, but it'd be very difficult. After all, that type of travel between worlds would require an immense amount of energy. An amount that no human would be able to manipulate and survive. That's why most elders have dismissed this as nonsense. But listening to all that's been said today, it coincides quite closely with this theory.
For the first time since we've arrived at this school, I begin to feel a glimmer of hope. What more can you share about this theory?
Well, not much, I'm afraid. As I said, most consider it to be either nonsense or too inconsequential to waste their time on. Although there is one man who spent his life developing and researching this theory. He used to be an instructor of this academy.
Is he still in Illumia?
Unfortunately, he left many years ago in search of Ember Mist.
Oh, that sounds like a large cloud of embers. Leanna purses her lips.
The hidden city.
He nods. If it's hidden, I'm guessing it'll be hard to find. Before he can respond, a student with two long pigtails strides over.
Please allow me to accompany you on your quest.
She's got a full character. Ooh, how do I know her name? Amelia Estelle. Oh, Professor Xavier replies sternly.
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
Could you elaborate on your disapproval? This is an excellent opportunity to further my research and education.
She's a robot.
This is not a Mage Academy-sponsored expedition, so there won't be mages around to protect you. It's a dangerous journey, especially given the fact that no one knows the location of Ember Mist.
The girl stays silent, and I can practically see the cogs in her head spinning as she contemplates his words. Finally, she nods.
Understood.
As soon as she finishes speaking, she turns on her heels and walks away. What just
Pay
happened?
her no mind. That's just how she is.
A robot.
That's Amelia Estelle, the university's prodigy. She's only a teenager, but already a mage caster, which means she can manipulate two different elements at the same time.
Oh, I flash her a grateful smile for the automatically explaining what a mage caster is. I'm guessing mage casters are usually a little older than a teen. Leanna grins.
Just a little. Most mage casters are in their 40s.
My eyes wide. She must really be something special then.
Anyway, thank you for all of your help, Professor.
I'm sorry I wasn't able to be more helpful, but I wish you the best of luck on your journey.
After saying goodbye, his wheelchair moves on its own and pushes him out of the room. I knew it! He's moving with his mind!
He's actually using wind magic.
God, shut up, don't hush my dream. With his mind! Leanna shoots me a weird look.
What did you think of everything the professor said?
It sounds exactly like what happened to me. We should find this Ember Mist city and talk to the professor there. She nods.
Unfortunately, no one knows how to get there. Let's stop by the inn. Since it's a hub for travelers from all over, there's bound to be someone who knows something.
That sounds like our best course of action. Once agreed, Leanna leads the way out of the academy. Alrighty. Is there a way to, like... Is there, like, a quick save hot button? Anyways, that's all for me. I will save again just to be safe. Okay, no, it's already saved. Alright, we're good. I will talk to you guys next time.